It is a motivational Monday, and I'm motivated to do all of the things because I'm sitting in community right now with an amazing human being. His name is Dr. Daniel Black. We're talking about the book, The Coming. He's got another book that's coming out at the end of the month that we're going to talk about as well. We were talking during the break about making life easy for our children because I went to the break talking about the ways in which we set our children up, I believe, to fail. And in many ways, erase the very power that they have. So, we run out to get mates that, might lighten the load, thin out the nose, lighten the skin, make it easier. We don't discipline our children to make them do anything that, might strengthen them because life is hard. We had it hard. My grandmother had it hard. You shouldn't have to. My father used to say, you didn't ask to come here, so I'm gonna make sure you have everything you want. But I sought out struggle. I don't know why. I was always seeking struggle. I don't know why. Dr. Black, I must have inherently known somewhere in my depth that I needed to have adversity in my life to be the person I am today. You were saying that that's important.
That's extremely important. In fact, we need to start telling our children, I pray that your life challenges you the way mine did.
Ooh, that's tough.
That's what we should pray. That's because here's what's deep. Everybody we pray to, everyone we extol as heroes, were people whose life struggle we honor. We don't bow down to anyone who didn't struggle. We bow down to people who, in the middle of the struggle, rose nonetheless. That's who we want, right? And so we keep trying to figure out how to give children the kind of life where they will have no excuse but to succeed. That is the recipe for failure. Because when you've given them so much, really what people don't really understand is you blind them to the possibility of a vision. Because they have too much. Having so much materially blinds one to the notion of a hope for anything. I tell folks now, if I could do it again, and I have a son, if I could do it again, 2 pair of shoes. That's what I do. At any given time, 2 pair of shoes. No TV in the room ever. Maybe 3 pair of pants, maybe 3 shirts, certainly a winter coat, certainly should. But all of his clothes could fit within 6 inches of both of my hands if I could do it again. Because here's what's really deep, Karen. None of our children remember any of it. There's not one child who can tell you what they got for Christmas when they were 5, if they're an adult. And we killed ourselves getting it. See? That's not what the Spirit desires. What the Spirit desires is an example to itself about its own sovereignty. Did you survive what thought it was going to destroy you? That is what you will remember. That really hard teacher, those are the ones we talk about. We don't laud the teachers who gave us all that extra credit. We say, ooh, I had a teacher when I was in.
That's right.
Uh-huh. And that's the one we praise because that's the one who showed us the resilience of our own spirit.
That's right.
So we're showing the wrong thing. And so in the middle of the Middle Passage, there were people who came. There were people on these ships who in the middle of madness, in the middle of Babylon, in the middle of insanity, they were very clear about who they were. And people say, well, when we brought here, we lost everything. No. When we came here, we did not bring material things, but we brought all of Africa because Africa is within you. Nothing African is external to you. That's culture. Africa is the spirit in you, is the name in you, is the clarity in you, is the memory in you, is the epic blood that flows through you that tells you who you is, who you was, who you shall be, what has been, and what shall be. That's Africa. And there's one on this ship who came, who had a gift, and he was very clear about it, And I'm going to read a little section about him.
Can you, because there's power in that word. There's power in that word. Come on through, Dr. Daniel Black. Read something for us.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And there was one who came whose gift was to speak. And speaking is what he did. He spoke to everything. He spoke to everyone. He spoke all things. There was nothing he did not say. Day and night, his tongue reverberated as if clear about itself. And sometimes he even spoke to the earth. On hands and knees, he'd press his mouth to the ground and mumble quietly. We didn't know what he said. Most didn't care. They were too consumed with misery. But a few noticed and wondered what exactly he was doing. He'd rise occasionally and clap with excitement as though understanding something we did not, then return to the position of humility. We believe now that he saw our future and understood why things had to be this way. We believe that in speaking to the earth, he assured our ancestors that we would come and we would survive and we would understand. We believe that Timmy Tope saw beyond the moment and knew that our dispersal around the world would be to the world's benefit. He was centuries ahead in consciousness. Of course, he despised what happened to us and how we were treated. He spoke that fury too, but he seemed less concerned with pale men than with keeping our spirits aligned with our past. The day he took the block and some old pale man bought him for almost nothing, we sighed and shook our heads. He murmured the entire time they twirled and touched him. Then he smiled as they took him away. Not until we returned to the stall where they held us did we understand. The resulting silence almost killed us. We had not comprehended, much less appreciated, Timmy Tope's gift. It had been his voice that had kept us from total anguish. His words had fought for us. They had shifted the ether. They had rearranged what devastation had put looming in the air. We had forgotten the power of the spoken word. We'd been taught this. Every elder had said it. Be careful what you say. Words exalt or ruin lives. We assumed that among a strange people, words lost their authority since language could not be understood. Our assumption was naive. Years later, we realized what Timmy Tope knew. The purpose of speech does not rely upon meaning. Words carry energy all by themselves. They vibrate through the air with the intention of the speaker, shaping consciousness and touching hearts, whether understood or not. In our case, many shared Timmy Tope's tone. We simply didn't want to hear him. Positive speech was an irritant in the midst of misery, so we begged his silence that our sorrow might be reverenced. He turned from us, but never from his mission. Often he paced across spittle, vomit, mud, dragging chains behind him, while all the while declaring, we shall live, we shall live, we shall live, we shall live and not die. Oh, we shall live and not die. Sometimes he repeated it for hours. We shall live. Oh, we shall live. We shall live. We shall live and not die. The day they sold him away, we heard him finally. His words lingered in the air. They teased our troubled minds. They soothed untouchable places. And in his absence, without conscious consent, we finally believed him. This was not the end. There would be another day.
Becoming.
Becoming.
Dr. Daniel Black. As I was reading that, I thought about us as seeds scattered around the world to be sown, right? So when I ask people to come to Nubia bringing a brick, I need to add, what's your seed?
That's right.
What are you seeding?
That's
right. We were taken from one place that had abundance and scattered all over the globe.
That's right.
As far as Nova Scotia, as far as, we're everywhere.
Everywhere. And see, that's how deep spirit is. Because what Europeans didn't know is that they were enslaving seeds. But if you're going to enslave seeds, the last thing you should do is scatter them across the land. Because if you do that, they're going to bloom and multiply. And they're going to create a thing called a harvest. See, the only thing is that the descendants of the seeds must stay clear that they inherited seed power. Because all that means is every day, all you got to do is replant yourself, and a new you shall come forth. And see, the thing about seeds is that it multiplies when the earth, the land, the sun, and the rain agree. See, the seed's multiplication is in the universe's consciousness. So the multiplying is going to happen. And see, here's why it comes full circle to what we talked about at the beginning. You don't need every seed to bloom, because the deep thing about a seed is if you plant a seed, you don't get the seed back. You get its multiplied bloom.
That's right.
So you don't need every seed to bloom. You don't need but a few to bloom, because even those few will still be more than all the seeds you planted together when you harvest